Good to see you again. Today we are going to work on some trees. Trees are always rather complicated for people because they don't know how to get dark within the branches, and so I'll show you how to do that. Another interesting thing about pine trees is I noticed that when I was in Alaska, I thought, oh well, the branches, the boughs all go down, but that isn't so. Some pine trees have branches that go upwards towards the sky, and others have them that go down towards the ground. So you have to really study each evergreen in your area and see what it does. But we'll have some fun doing that. Birch trees, palm tree, and a cypress tree, okay? We'll see if we can get it all in. Here we go. I'll be working with a neutral gray, burnt umber, burnt sienna, and a little black there. And here is Alizarin Crimson that I use with Viridian to make a very dark green. There's also a deep green or sap green and cad yellow light. So I'll show you how to mix that. Now, the first painting that we're going to do is of an evergreen tree. I've already put in a small trunk that has a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of burnt sienna, and a little bit of gray, all on the same brush. So it was darker on one side and then a little lighter on the other. Also, in this particular pine, I'm going to have the branches aim downwards, even though in others they may aim upwards. Now, we have some that are going from side to side, and then some that come across the front actually come across the front like an unhappy smile. So they will come across the front of the tree because we can't just have it look like it's two-dimensional. It needs to be a three-dimensional tree. So I'm going to use a fan brush, and the first color I'm going to start out with is a little Viridian, and that sometimes is called phthalo green, and some alizarin crimson. And that will make a very dark green. So I'm going to put some branches at the top, very thin ones, and then start across. Now the reason I'm using this dark is that we need to have the undergrowth of the branches. I can make my little unhappy smile for the front of it, the front of the tree. Again, back down to the side. So now that the dark is in the tree, now I'm going to add a little cad yellow light to the edge of the puddle. I don't want to ruin all of the dark, but I'm going to add some cad yellow light, and then I'll even add a little more cad yellow in another puddle with a little bit of white on it to lighten it further. Okay, here we go. This is just for the sun. Usually at the top, the sun is on all leaves. And then we're going to make it just on the front, over here. We'll keep the dark leaves. Now I have the trunk of the tree with roots that support the tree to the extent that the branches go out. Now I'm going to take the lightest color and again go over it so that it looks sunny. Alright, that's all you need to do. Now some branches will go down and others may go up, so it just depends on what evergreen you're looking at. The next one we're going to do is a cypress. And a cypress is an interesting tree because as it grows, the strong winds of Northern California will blow the trunk of the tree inwards. So it blows the trunk of the tree in towards the shore, this way. So you'll see a lot of the trunk moving inland, and it has all kinds of small little branches. Small branches and little wispy twigs, and it's trying to grow straight up, but the long, hard days with heavy winds won't let it. so it aims inward. And then the branches, which are lighter, they reach the sun, which is coming in from offshore. And so the branches aim outwards this way. So they're rather flat. And the next thing you know, you will have a lovely cypress. But the branches are long and flat. Use your variety of shades of green that you've just made with Viridian, Alizarin Crimson, and Cad Yellow Light, and a little bit of white to catch the sun. Okay, and then we'd want to put a few more little twigs. We'd have some branches coming up out of here and here, a couple here. And they also have little twigs that just are loose, that just hang off to the side. It's like they're roots that are searching for another place to set down. All right, so that gives you an idea of cypress. Quite easy to make. You can fill it in more if you want. Now we'll start with the palm tree. I'm going to add some of the dead fronds first. They'll have a little bit more orchid in the back where the shadow area is, and it will be a little bit lighter in the front. All right, now I'm going to take the Viridian and the Alizarin Crimson, which is going to make my very dark green. And notice I didn't clean my brush. It's going to be just fine. All right, I'm going to start by making the bottom edge first. All right, after I have done the bottom branches, I'll take a fan brush and gently push the leaves downwards. Now I take the next one up, and these will overshadow the first one. Notice that everything goes to this one center. You don't have the branches just hanging off by themselves. As it comes up to the top, they wouldn't be as large because they're the beginnings of new fronds. They can still overhang the previous one. Now, right now we have a two-dimensional tree, so we need to add a couple in the front. So I'm going to add an unhappy smile this way and bring a line coming straight down and come off of that forward. Such as that. Now there's usually just a couple pieces that are still hanging up in the air like this that are brand new fronds. Just starting. So that's our palm tree. Now we're going to go on with a birch tree. I've already added a gray and a brown. But the fun with a birch tree starts when you take a palette knife and against a gray background on the light side, we're going to take white and we're going to bring the brush down, or the palette knife down, and then just slightly push it over the top of the trunk, such as this. Now I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing with a darker color. I'm going to use a little burnt umber and a little bit of black. There are usually little black holes where twigs have fallen off. So we'll put some of those in. Now I'm going to make some twigs. Okay. So we just will add some branches out to the side. and they keep growing off of each other, smaller twigs. And again, a birch is quite twiggy. But in order to have it look like it's 3D, we have to have some of those twigs coming from the middle of the tree, the middle of the trunk of the tree. Well, you can see how each branch is a little bit different and each trunk is a little different. I hope that gives you some idea and some confidence in building your own landscapes with trees. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon.